I'm rough.
Oh, with a yawn. Hello and welcome to the Special Moves podcast. My name is Mike Williams. These guys are Jake Klukowski and Liam McKelvey.
Hello.
Hello. Socially distanced regards.
Remote edition, lockdown edition of Special Moves podcast. Yeah. As everyone else is sort of doing this, aren't they? And people are already rapidly getting used to it.
Well, people were commenting, saying that our audios were really good. This time we're joined by, now, Liam might have edited it out, but if he hasn't, which is fair game, like there's this weird like green border whenever someone's speaking now.
Yeah.
So we didn't choose to add that.
Discord did.
But what I like is when we all speak at once, the green comes up the whole time. So it's like you can see when someone unanimously agrees.
Mm-hmm.
If you again,
or loudly disagrees, though.
Absolutely.
We could all be in loud disagreement, couldn't we?
If you're an audio master race listener, then, I mean, this means nothing to you, of course, but hello, and hope you're having a nice time inside your house.
Yeah, well, I've been finding it difficult to actually listen to as many podcasts as I used to, because I used to listen to them on my commute to work and stuff. I used to hammer a load of podcasts in the morning, in the afternoons, at lunchtime even. I'd go out for a drive at lunchtime to get my lunch and shit like that. And so there's probably at least an hour a day of podcast time that I've just lost.
You're right, and like even though working at home, so technically you could just watch it, you just don't, right? Like, because I'm the same. And like in the morning, especially if I'm going through my emails or whatever, I could just be listening to podcasts, but I just end up watching Twitch streamers instead. So like there's a net loss in my podcasting since working from home. I listen to two of them now, and that's it. But yeah,
what are you listening to?
I listen to the video game show, right? Which is like some other guys with opinions talking about video games, right? I don't want to, in case they're listening, I don't want to fucking bump them up too much. It's gone to their heads a bit, right? This week, the guy that plays Master Chief was giving him a shout out on Twitter. So just keep the fucking egos in check. I'm not giving him a proper shout out. And I listen to the Sky Sports boxing podcast. So
nice.
They're the only two that I listen to. Yeah.
I'm exactly the same. I'm listening to rugby podcasts still. Yeah, I'm amazed, right, that they're still managing to do anything because there's no rugby. There's just no sport.
It's just an excuse for them to talk to other people, basically.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
It's all like lists and interviews and feature-y type stuff, which is quite impressive.
Have you not seen like the virtual races we're doing for NASCAR and F1 and stuff?
Yeah, and horse racing, virtual Grand National or whatever, people betting on it and shit like that. It's like crazy.
I can't remember who I said it to, but I said, wouldn't the virtual Grand National be better if they just filmed one of those, like, the horse games they have in arcades? You just put like 20 people.
Yeah. Why not? Like,
just do it. Why not?
Yeah. Apart from that, though, I have gained a lot of gaming time, I have to say. I've played a lot more games this last week than I would have otherwise, just after work and stuff. And yesterday, Saturday, usually like we go out on a Saturday, like we'll just go somewhere, we got something to do or whatever, there's some job or plans that we've cooked up in a week to do. But yesterday we couldn't go anywhere, so I just ended up playing Mountain Blade Bannerlord.
Yeah.
You and everyone else on Steam.
All afternoon, which was pretty good. But yeah, I think it's quite nice that like Laura actually said that the rush has gone from life, just the commute and the rushing around and rushing home.
I thought you meant like, whoa, what a rush.
Yeah, no, that's what I said. But I think like it's completely on the money. Like I'm just not in a rush in the morning anymore. I just get out of bed, I get changed, I have a wash, and then I make some coffee, and then I'm at my desk. That's
been my life for the past year, right? And yeah, I can't imagine going back. I can't.
Yeah, I'm warming to it, man. I hated it. The first day or two.
Yeah,
I really hated it, and then I've slowly sort of started warming to it more. It isn't ideal working like this because there's some things that you just want to have a conversation about, but it's difficult to do that when you're not in the same room because you want to be looking at the same monitor without cutting across each other and stuff like that. Which in my work it's still annoying me. I don't know if it's annoying my colleagues and stuff, but it's just not quite the same doing things on a video call sometimes when, But apart from that, I'm loving it. Like by this point, it's like, so what? I've had 6 days of working from home and the actual just everything being slowed down.
Yeah,
it's quite nice.
It's a real roller coaster, man. I want to see where you are next week. You might be back to hating it again.
That probably.
You never know.
Yeah.
So we've all been playing some games this week, right? And it's been a big week for games.
Yeah.
To be honest. So, I mean, where do we begin? What came out chronologically? What came out?
It was Mountain Blade first. Came out on the Monday.
Well, I'll talk about that quickly then. I wasn't one of these who loved Warband or Mountain Blade, or I did play them, but I was never like, oh, this is amazing and this is nothing else like it and stuff. These games, these sort of very PC master race type games have got a strong core kind of fan base, and I would just not say I was part of that, and I wasn't really paying any attention to this at all. And then I watched a couple of videos and stuff, and I started getting into it. And I've got to be completely honest, right? Cards on the table. When I first saw gameplay of it, my reaction was, "Ha ha! Look how shit it looks. It looks exactly like Mountain Blade 1." And I didn't have a very high bar for anything really. But then I just sort of got into watching a few people playing it and stuff like that, and I bought it on Friday. And I really, really like it. It's really, really good. It's really properly got me. It looks a fucking load better than I was expecting, because I was expecting it to be so shit. And then it's like, and I don't feel, it doesn't feel good saying that about a game, but I'm just trying to be honest, right? That's my first impression when I saw the gameplay on people streaming it and people putting videos on YouTube. It just looked exactly like the original Mountain Blade. But it does look really good. I've got it on max settings on my PC. I've got a 1060, which is, I guess, pretty average. Like, it's not if you're a PC gamer, I guess most people will have that kind of thing by now. And it just looks mint. It looks amazing. It's like 60 FPS. If you don't know anything about Mountain Blade, it's like a very open-ended and very mechanically driven RPG, which has got different levels to it. There's got like this big open, overview map level where you kind of move around the map. It doesn't look very good. You've got a little number underneath that tell you how many people you've got in your army and stuff. And it almost feels a little bit like pen and paper role playing type stuff, really, where you can just go anywhere and talk to anyone, and it's very loose objectives that drive you through, and then you start speaking to people, and then you'll get involved in confrontations and stuff, and you get dragged into stuff, and then you kind of align yourself with a kingdom or a country, I guess. And then there's wars, and then everything escalates on a really, really impressive curve. Like, you start off with like a group of like 4 or 5 dudes running into another group of 4 or 5 dudes who are just in rags. And then, sort of 15 hours later, you've got like sizable armies of men like clashing and stuff, and it's good. It's really, really good.
And this isn't like Total War where you play as like a mouse.
No,
clicking battalions of men. You are in the midst of these huge, like Helm's Deep level battles, right?
Yeah, and the melee system is a really big part of it. Like the melee combat, I would really if you pick this up, I would really advise you spend ages in a tutorial, because it's hard. It's a tough game. The game by default has got the game's got loads of settings like for difficulty and stuff, but it has one for the combat level of the enemies, so how good the AI is at fighting, and that's like on the top level by default. But it's fucking hard. Like, you've got to move your mouse and attack at the same time. You can see all these games now where like Chivalry and what's that Ubisoft one? For Honor? Is that what it's called? I can't remember. Yep. All them types of games, you can see that they've just taken this from the original Mountain Blade, where it's like direction-driven melee combat. And it's, it doesn't feel immediately good to do that. It feels quite clumsy almost. I've noticed a lot of streamers and stuff are defaulting to using a bow and arrow, because that's the one that feels the best. It feels just really straightforward.
Yeah, right.
But yeah, I'm surprised. I'm surprised how much I liked it. I've was expecting I would kind of be into it, but it really got me yesterday, and I spent like I think it was like 5 hours or something. And I can't remember the last time I did that. Just sat in front of. Oh yeah, I can. It was Friday night when I played Resident Evil. But I honestly sat there for 5 hours playing Mountain Blade Bannerlord, And the time just went, and I really, really enjoyed it. I'm going to keep playing it. I think I'm going to re-roll my character, though. I'm going to do it again. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It's interesting that it's character-centered. I didn't realise that. I thought you were just controlling some goon, like in the grand scheme of things. But
the character creator is amazing. The character creator is really, really... It's genuinely... I really like how it gives you layers and layers of story background that decides how good you are at like fighting with a sword or riding a horse or whatever. You choose your kind of family background, and then it's not like putting points in whatever, pole arms or bow and arrow.
Yeah, right.
You choose a story background, and that gives you points based on what you chose.
Okay. It's pretty cool. It's like the definition of fucking rough around the edges, but the potential really of it is just like it's like how Tarkov was. Remember that game? You didn't hear anything. We're going to redact that out. No, I'm just kidding. But like that was the same thing where like sometimes an idea is so strong, like it can just fucking pop through all the doubt and stuff. So I was really surprised by this because like I didn't see it coming. It just appeared out of nowhere, and then
same.
I work with streamers and doing all of the analytics and stuff, and it just fucking boomed. It was the top of Twitch, and everyone was playing it. And interestingly, like they didn't pay anybody to play it. Everybody was playing it for free. They had like everyone on it. So I was like, what the fuck? I looked at it and it looked shit. It looked proper shit. And I thought, wow, that looks shit. And then Mike was saying about it, so I thought, well, let's see. Maybe if he gives it a good recommendation, I'll take it more seriously. You have now, and I'm all of a sudden a lot more interested in it because I didn't even realize, like I said, I thought like you were like a commander, an unseen commander, and then when you got into the battles to give you that feeling that you were in it a bit more, like in that game Toy Soldiers.
Or how about this full spectrum warrior? Do you remember that?
Oh wow,
no,
that's a callback.
Yeah.
It does have a bit of that where it's got small numbers and you're kind of ordering small groups around, but it's the RPG-ness of it is a lot stronger than you'd expect. I think that's the thing that you can easily overlook. It feels, compare it in your head a little bit more to like Sid Meier's Pirates or something like that, where you've got a map and then there's things happen within that map that you can you go to a port. And then you have a lot of options of what you want to do. Do you want to go to the tavern? Do you want to go? It's a really similar setup, but it's very open ended. It's a lot of fun. I think unquestionably it needs a lot of work on it because it is. I encountered a game breaking bug after about 4 hours where the dialogue broke, and every time I reloaded it, I restarted my PC, all that sort of stuff. The dialogue was just stuck on like a persuade check, even though there was no persuade option for me, so I couldn't do anything. I just couldn't progress the story. It doesn't matter who I spoke to; they all had this broken dialogue. So I had to like go back to a way earlier save and stuff. But it's an early access game. It really feels like an early access game, but there is a lot of stuff there. It does.
I'm interested to see if it's going to be Kingdom Come Deliverance style thing. It's almost identical into like only hardened men are into it, like Tarkov. It's full of game-breaking bugs. It's super janky, but it's got this idea that kind of makes people push through it. I have a feeling that the people who were interested in Kingdom Come Deliverance and the people interested in this is probably about a 95% match. And that game kind of just, outside of its like evangelists, died within 2 weeks. And I'm interested to see.
I think Mountain Blade's more of a phenomenon than that, because it's got a roots in terms of it's been on the PC for more than a decade. I guess a decade or whatever.
Simply put, it's a fucking highly anticipated sequel, isn't it? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. But I'm not normally into this kind of like that Kingdom Come Deliverance. I wasn't even remotely interested in playing that. But I am interested in that scene in Lord of the Rings where Theoden rides up and down the horses shouting, right now, right now. That's what this game is. That's what it's all about. Like, it's fucking, the battles are really fun and the combat is really difficult. But it's really one to sink your teeth into.
It's kind of giving you that when no other game is. And I think that's why so many people are into it, because of that aspect of it. So, that dropped on Monday then, right? same day as our last podcast. So it's been a week. By the time you're listening to this, it's been a week, unless you're listening live. And then Tuesday, what happened on Tuesday? Something was that the day Modern Warfare 2 Remastered dropped in Germany, or was it over here on that day?
It was earlier on in the week, wasn't it?
Yeah.
I can't Germany had it the day before. I think it might have been. Yeah, no, it was definitely Tuesday that it came out in Germany, I think, because it was the same day as Persona 5 Royale, and yeah, I was out there hunting for Call of Duty. Modern. So, Call of Duty Modern Warfare was like down to £35, and then it shot back up to 60 after everybody was saying this game's actually quite good, you know.
Yeah,
like they were very good with the time.
It's definitely not a we've gotten into it at exactly the moment that the fucking marketing department of Activision wanted us to get into it. I'm sure. Yeah. I was interested in getting it anyway after playing Warzone, so that's step one of the marketing strategy, I guess. And then I went into Tesco last week, mid quarantine, wanting to get some essential supplies,
chips.
But then But then there was Call of Duty Modern Warfare down to £35, and I just bought it.
And the rest is history. Well, then you started my interest was getting preceded then by Mike kind of texting. Mike doesn't text like how I text. He's not
this is like the documentary.
He's like, he was just texting little things, saying words that don't mean much unless you're Mike, right? So like when Mike says something is interesting, it means that's a good compliment. So he said it was interesting, and I was like, interesting? Call of Duty? But then the more I played Warzone, the more I was to it. Oh, that's an FAL. Oh, that's what a Car 98K does. So then I'm like, right, I'll drop 35 smackaroos on it. Go to it. It's £60 again. Go to Asda. Queue up like the Division 2 in real life. Queue it up in Asda. 2 feet away from everyone else or whatever the fuck. Get there. Sold out. Then I all of a sudden realised that I had some essential shopping to do in the Tesco down the street, which I couldn't get in Asda. So I went to Tesco on an urgent trip and got it. £40. There it was. Sold out. Fuck's sake. So I bought it full price, didn't I? And you know what? Yeah.
It's good, isn't it?
It's fucking good.
It's fucking good.
I'll tell you, right? Like, I can say this dead confidently. I haven't even finished the game yet. It's exactly the same as how when I played Modern Warfare the first time, because like I went in there knowing it was going to be good, but the graphics are insane. They're not the Warzone graphics, are they? The story campaign mode graphics are different.
Yeah, the campaign is always going to be more.
Yeah, the game looks incredible.
Focused.
Yeah, exactly. There's like it's very guided. It's a lot of like kind of follow this person up a ladder, look through the binoculars, press R1 to drone strike. But it looks amazing. It's very edgy, like very, very edgy. But I was like, they said, boys, it's going to be edgy. It's going to be like child soldiers, suicide bombers. You're going to be holding a gun to a baby and shit like that. Marketing. So I was like, all right. And then the trailer popped for it, and it was literally a juggernaut jumping out of a helicopter with fucking
Enter Sandman
by Metallica playing. So, but when I'm playing it, I'm like, holy shit, it is like
it's good.
You play as like a terrorist. You play as you're holding a gun to me. You shoot a guy who talks about he needs to get home to his girls, but he's got a suicide vest on, mate. All in the first 2 missions. I don't want to say anything else because it probably goes up from there. But I'm not just liking it, I'm loving it, and I'm loving it so much that I've got Final Fantasy VII. We won't really talk about that. And just before I booted that up, I was like, I could have a go with Modern Warfare campaign, though, couldn't I? Do you know the fact that that's even happening when I've got Final Fantasy VII? It's like
I was exactly the same because I had the exact same feeling to play Resident Evil 3, which is a new game that was on my PlayStation ready to go on Friday night, and all I wanted to do was play Call of Duty. I overcame it because I did play Resident Evil, but I'm exactly the same. I really, really love it. I've almost finished the campaign, I think, and that's the problem with Call of Duty because it is Call of Duty and it's an Activision game, and they can't make anything without it seeming edgy is the word that springs to your mind instead of interesting or
provocative.
Exactly. And they do things the Call of Duty way. So if it's going to try try and show that, the real horrors of modern war, is going to do it in the Call of Duty way, where it's really like a fucking, Michael Bay shit.
Yeah.
But it is a really good. The bottom line is, it's a really fun game to play through the campaign. Is really good. It's really atmospheric. There's tense bits. There's scary bits straight away. Like that opening mission is fucking superb. When you're in that warehouse and all the lights go off and stuff.
Yeah,
fantastic, right? And the whole campaign is full of that, like, imaginative. It's not. They've done a really good job of not making it feel like shooting gallery after shooting gallery, which is what Call of Duty is.
How have they managed to do things like? There's a bit where you have a shootout in an airport. There's a bit where you have a shootout in a hospital. There's a bit where you have a shootout on a bank in the dark. Every fucking game has that in. Every Call of Duty game has that in. But somehow I wasn't like actively going, this is the bit where you walk very closely behind the tank because there's an MG firing at you. Yeah. And if you move away from it, like I wasn't putting up, like it was more than the sum of its parts while I was in it. But it's creatively done, isn't it? That's the thing. Like there's a sniping mission, but it feels like that,
the ghillie suit one from Modern Warfare in terms of how it's got the really long range and a bullet drop and a flag blowing to tell you which way the wind's blowing and all that sort of stuff.
I didn't feel like it was like every other game that I've played since Modern Warfare 1. I feel like they've gone, okay, we need a fucking all ghillied up level.
Yeah,
we need to know Russian.
Or if they did do that, they've done it amazingly well. They've done an unbelievably good job of doing it.
It's the most I've enjoyed the COD since Modern Warfare. Yeah. Which, funnily enough, came out again this week. And Liam, you haven't just played it.
I've beaten it.
You finished it.
Mm-hmm. To be fair, it's only like 5 hours. But
how is it?
Yeah, so Modern Warfare 2 Remastered got surprised release. Only the campaign though, no multiplayer or Spec Ops. That was cut because they said they didn't want to split the player base, which is understandable, I guess. And,
from Modern Warfare.
From new Modern Warfare. And so, to be fair, it's a reduced price. It's only £20 in the UK. For 5 hours, I think is all right. There's indie games that cost more than that are shorter.
It's good.
If you've played the Modern Warfare 2 campaign, like it's not just like any 5 hours, is it? They're pretty good 5 hours.
It's a good 5 hours, yeah. And
£20 is about as reasonable as you could possibly want from Activision for a Call of Duty game, I think.
Yeah. And to be fair, they've done one hell of a good job on this remaster to the point where it's basically a remake rather than a remaster. Like, instead of just like upscaling the character models, they've made completely new ones. Same with the gun models, completely new gun models. They've like retextured everything. They redid the sound, re-recorded voice acting and stuff like that to make it sound a bit more clearer and punchier. I didn't really think it was that great a remaster until I saw the Digital Foundry video on it, where they did side-by-side stuff, and it's amazing, actually, like, how much they've done to change it. And
I actually saw that. Like, there's bits where, like, even, like, building placement is different and things like that, which it shows it's not just a textual thing. And, there's some bits, like, the bit where they call in that bit where they call in the airstrike on in the Call of Duty game.
I think that happens about 8 times in the first mission.
Yeah. Do you know, that reminds me, do you know what happens in the Modern Warfare, the new Modern Warfare, whatever you're going to call that. You're in a helicopter, you're flying into a hot situation, you start taking small arms fire, and then someone goes RPG, and then the helicopter gets shot down.
Yep.
Of course.
That exact thing has happened how many times? Like, it's fucking amazing.
Yeah. You have to have that in any game about war. Yeah. Any like war game that's in there.
Yeah.
RPG.
Yeah. We should play Call of Duty Bingo for the Black Ops.
So you're enjoying it then, Liam, or you enjoyed it? Sorry,
I did enjoy it. Yeah, it's really good. Really like good job they've done on this whole remaster job. Like it puts quite a lot of other remasters to shame, to be honest.
Right,
the amount of work they've put into it. It runs really well. It runs like 4K 60 on the PS4, which should say it's only on the PS4 at the minute. It's exclusive on PS4 until the 30th of April. Then it comes to PC and Xbox. But yeah,
strange.
yeah, like if you've played Modern Warfare 2 before, I think if you play this one, you'll have, if you enjoyed the campaign originally anyway, that is, you'll probably have a good time with this one, and you'll think, wow, it holds up. I think it does. Like, the missions are still good. Keith David, I forgot he was in it, just shouting orders at you as a Marine sergeant. That was amazing. Like, defending the burger restaurant and everything. That was still good. With, like, the thermal sniper rifle. That was still fun. Yeah, it's still got all, like, the Michael Bay moments to it, but sometimes that's exactly what you want in a game.
And it's not even the only roughly 5-hour remake that you've played this week, is it, Liam?
No, I've also played Resident Evil 3 Remake.
Yeah.
How many times?
4 times I played it, I should say.
Okay, so just to reiterate and underline that, Resident Evil 3 came out, the remake came out this week.
On Friday.
On Friday.
Liam has finished it 4 times.
Mm-hmm.
It's now 2:00 on Sunday, so that's not 48 hours later.
Course, baby.
I like Resident Evil, right? That's all I can say. I like Resident Evil.
Yeah. So you've been looking forward to this for a while, Liam.
I was, yeah. Ever since they announced it, it came with a little bit of disappointment at first because they announced Resident Evil Resistance first, and I was like, "Oh, multiplayer Resident Evil? I don't want to play that." Yeah. It's never worked out well, and more on that later. But so they quickly announced that it was part of a package of Resident Evil 3 Remake, and yeah, it was one of my most anticipated games of 2020. It's now been and gone. I finished it 4 times. And I have a lot of thoughts about it, to be honest.
It's the same weekend that it came out, and it's completely like past tense. It's gone. Yeah. It's happened.
Yeah.
We've all played it, right? I finished it in one sitting on Friday night, which is, not my kind of style usually. I enjoyed it. I did enjoy it. I think my total playtime was about 4.5 hours.
Yeah.
And that was, there's a lot of... I died a few times, and there was a lot of like retreading. Like I went back to open saves and shit like that, and I wanted to make sure I got as much out, because I'm definitely not going to play it 4 times. So I wanted to see as much as I could see in that first thing. And I think so. It's had a lot of criticism for being short, hasn't it?
Yeah.
But I think what it does is kind of underline how short it is by telling you exactly how long it took you to beat it. And also it does that pauses don't count. Every time you pause the game, it doesn't count. Every time you go for a break, it doesn't count. It's not like Steam, where it's just as soon as the game is up and running, it's clocking up hours.
It doesn't include cutscenes either. Like anytime there's a cutscene, it pauses the timer. Yeah.
So it's actually not doing itself any favors, because it's got that like, speedrunny kind of how long did it take you to finish counter at the end. And I think that's it's sort of causing itself a problem by doing that, because it has really emphasized how short it actually is to a lot of people anyway.
Yeah.
What were your feelings about how short it was, Liam, or long it was?
So I read quite a few of the reviews before it came out, so I was fully expecting the really short length. And I don't really mind it, because Resident Evil 3, the original, was quite short anyway. Like probably more like 5 hours though in the original. But yeah, like this one, so I going into it, I knew it was going to be short. And then, but I think, I don't know, I think the gameplay of it is very good. And I think just the game itself is very good. I do just wish there was more of it, to be honest. Because, my first playthrough was 3 hours and 6 minutes, and I took my time to explore and go around as well. And solve the puzzles, which is only like 2 puzzles in the entire game, to be honest. Which is a bit disappointing. But
I didn't really like at all the bit specifically in downtown where Nemesis is just chasing you, and I really didn't like it feels a bit like Resident Evil 6 type stuff of like, just forget the game for a moment, just run down this alleyway. And it sort of lost I wasn't scared of it. It was the first couple of times I was like, oh, fuck, because it punches through walls and shit like that. But it just it didn't feel as scary as the Xenomorph does in Alien Isolation, or Mr. X does in Resident Evil 2, which came out last year. Mr. X was a lot more of a presence in the whole game. and it was really unpredictable and stuff, where this felt like, well, there was a correct way of dealing with it every time. And
I can say, having been through it 4 times now, all the Nemesis encounters are the same every time. He always shows up at scripted times, like a boss fight, or when you're in the city itself, like in the streets and the shops. He always shows up at specific points, and that's the only part of the game where he actually chases you around the map.
Exactly.
All the other times you come across him, it's a scripted event where you either have to run from him or it leads to a boss fight against him. So Nemesis was a bit disappointing for me because he quickly becomes non-threatening to like.
And what did you think of the other kind of big monsters as well? Where you know, like, just in general, like the ones in the sewer and stuff, and the ones in the hospital and things like that. Where because I thought at first every time they come up, I always went, oh fuck, like how do I deal with this one? They're usually really fast and really scary, but again, you can basically wipe them out with grenade launchers and stuff and grenades, and it doesn't feel like a big kind of duel with a monster as much as Mr. X does.
It definitely, like even the regular zombies didn't feel that much more threatening, which I guess thematically it makes sense because you're playing as an elite, police officer, like who's special forces basically. So it makes sense, like that Jill's going to be able to, fight back because that's her entire persona is tough, badass, elite cop sort of thing.
She is cool. She's great, actually.
I really like new Jill, to be fair. I like how sassy she is. And one of my favourite lines in the Resident Evil game happens in the middle of the game. You'll know, I won't spoil what it is, but you'll know it, Mike, when I say the river bit.
Yeah.
That is one of my favourite lines in a Resident Evil game.
I mean, I lost you for a second, but yeah, it's I like the general atmosphere as well, and the Jill's a standout character, but I think the best thing in it is just the mood and the way it all feels like it's panning out over one evening or 12 hours or whatever, Jake, what do you think of what you've played?
I really did like it. I did like it, but so I've only played for an hour and 10 minutes. Yeah, so not. I didn't think I was that far in, but I'm at the hospital now, so apparently I'm like at least halfway. And like, I just want to say, Nemesis is a pussy. Yeah, I was really scared, really scared of this game. I told you, didn't I, a couple of weeks ago? When like normal games, this one freaked me out a bit. The idea of him chasing me around, running, like I thought in my head it was going to be like Mr. X, but the fucker could run and he had like tentacles and shit. But no, he's like a diva. He just shows up when he wants. It's like I imagine in like some sort of green room or something when he's not chasing you. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
The thing, whenever he does show up, it's when you really do know where you need to go as well. So like, you get all these like little fetch quests, get this, and then return to the station or whatever. And then when you need to go back to the station, he then appears. But because of that, you aren't doing anything other than making a beeline for the station. But if he was like Mr. X, where like he was there when I was having to look for the fire hose, for example, like in the demo, but I didn't know where the fire hose was, then I'd be frantically searching, looking around. But no, I'm not. I'm only making a straight beeline, which is absolutely like, it's not scary at all when you're a fucking Dark Souls master and you realize that R1 is the most overpowered thing in the game. R1 if you're playing on PlayStation. Basically, there's like a dedicated dodge button, and when you get the timing down, even if he is right in front of you and punches, if you dodge right, you go right under him. Like literally like iframe dodge rolls like in the Souls games. Right? Yeah. So and I know for anyone listening, they've gone, how has he managed to bring up Dark Souls? But it's true. Nemesis only appears during like really straightforward bits where you need to get to a specific point, or during these overly scripted cutscene bits. So it's like the fear isn't there. That fear is Mr. X was like, he was like a malevolent presence everywhere. And to me, like that unlike like Mike says, which I think it's super important to bring up because the game doesn't get enough credit. It does get credit, but not enough credit. Alien Isolation, the fucking Xenomorph, that is like, scary. But yeah, I feel like Liam's done it 4 times. If I go and do it a second time, I'm going to be disappointed to know that he's going to be in the exact same place every time. And that's not even it. When you realize that he dies like that, what the fuck? Do you know what I mean?
One little grenade is all it takes to knock him to his feet.
The first boss fight with him on the roof, right? I killed him in 2 hits. I threw a grenade at him, and his backpack thing exploded. And then, I was going to say this is spoilers, but it's like 15 minutes into the game. Then again, that is about a quarter of the way through. Then, after his things exploded and he runs out, I shot the generator. It's over.
Mm-hmm.
Come on. Like, I was looking forward to being scared. Like, I was... Yeah. And what I've got instead is like basically a fucking Jason Statham film.
Yeah.
But I'll tell you something. I really liked the beginning. I really liked that first person PT-esque moment.
That was good.
Because it was like, I know it's obvious that you're playing as Jill, but at first I didn't know if it was going to be like, you know, like how most horror films start with like a kill to set the tone. Mm-hmm. I didn't know if I was playing as a victim, but the way that you walk down a corridor and then lightning flashes behind you, which lights up to show you your own silhouette, which shows you it's Jill, was really cool.
Yeah.
Because that was clever, and I was into that. And they had a bit of a Command and Conquer-esque. The intro scene is real actors.
That was great. I loved that. So I loved all of the two things actually. I think Jill is quite clearly modelled on what's her face from the movies, right?
Mila Jovovich.
I wouldn't say that.
Oh my god, I think she is. Her hair and stuff and the frame and everything, I totally modelled on her.
I can see where you're both coming from, which isn't adding anything, but you know what I mean?
Yeah, I think she is. But also,
Carlos?
What was I going to say? I can't remember. What did you say?
Carlos?
Oh my god, yeah, Adam Driver. He was all right. He was a pretty good character.
Yeah.
But they were all like...
I did like that they made Carlos less of a Spanish stereotype than he was in the original with his very bad voice acting in the original for Carlos. But I'm glad they made him into... I'm glad they made him into more of a, an actual person rather than a caricature.
Yeah, for sure. No, I liked... The bits I liked were the cheesy bits.
That's what I was going to say.
You know, which if it was done, but like if they were trying hard, it probably would have annoyed me more. Mm-hmm. But the fact that it's like so over the top, like Nemesis just keeps coming back with a bigger gun. It's stupid. It's like if Jaws came back and he had a laser on him, or
I like that. I like when he's like getting the rocket launcher out and stuff.
That's what I mean.
It embraces.
I like that there's lines in it that are just.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Like if it was trying a little bit harder to be serious or plausible, I'd be like, oh. But the fact that like that motherfucker's dead, and then he appears with a fucking case
every time,
like Agent 47.
They're so confident. They're always convinced that he's dead. Like.
I know what you mean. Like it embraces the whole video gaminess of it all, of like this. He just keeps inexplicably coming back despite being blown up by a missile launcher and stuff like that.
I think it's just it's a bit too light on story. Like what I'm saying is like it feels like if you don't know Resident Evil like off by heart, like it's a bit. I don't know. Like it's not a good introduction, is it?
Like I know what you mean. Like if you start the game, you're not gonna really care who Jill is unless you've played Resident Evil 1 or 3 before.
Whereas Resident Evil 2 was a fantastic starting point for people.
Yeah, because that was the first appearance of Leon and Claire.
And if anything, it that kind of raises the bar a bit too high. So yeah, like it was. Am I glad that I didn't pay for it? Yeah, but. Am I going to finish it? Also, yeah. So that's what I thought of Resident Evil.
I will say, like I said before, I really do. I think it is a very good game. I just wish there was more of it. And the most disappointing thing for me of it is how much they actually cut content from the original. Is the biggest thing that disappoints me. Like, there's entire areas from the original that are missing in this remake, and there was nothing really there to expand upon or replace those sections that have been cut. Like
that's a shame that it wasn't. It's gonna if you're gonna be dead short and cut stuff, that's gonna raise questions, isn't it, with fans?
Yeah, like it was very disappointing to me anyway. Like not having the Raccoon City Park be an area, or the Clock Tower be an area, like a full area like it was. And they cut the Dead Factory as well, which is like most of the second half of the original game, to be honest. And but like the gameplay, I think, is fantastic. I really like what they've done with it, and the dodge mechanic I thought worked very well, especially for a more actiony take on the Resident Evil 2 remake formula. I thought it pulled it off quite well. But yeah, it's just like I just wish there was more. That's all I could say. Really.
Well, like, Liam, there is more, and that more is Resident Evil Resistance, which you said more on that later a couple of minutes ago.
I did, so yes. So Resident Evil Resistance is the multiplayer mode that they packed in with Resident Evil 3 Remake, and probably to alleviate concerns of the length of Resident Evil 3 Remake. It's probably why they made this multiplayer mode. So if you don't know what Resident Evil Resistance is, it's a 4v1 asymmetrical multiplayer game where you have 4 survivors going through like a almost puzzle dungeon sort of thing, while one player controls the mastermind, and he or she controls zombies, basically, like gets to decide. They have like cameras on a map, and they get to decide like where they spawn enemies in. They can put traps down. They can convert the camera into a weapon to shoot directly at the survivor players. And
sounds cool.
So far. Cool. It's a bit dungeon mastery, I'd say, with a bit of Dead by Daylight thrown in there, a bit of Friday the 13th.
Yeah, I'm waiting for the.
The problem is,
sounds cool. What's the catch?
Exactly.
The problem is it's janky as fuck. Is the problem, and so the game. If you enjoy this game, it is highly dependent on your skill level and the skill level of your teammates. So if you're playing as a survivor, you have to be so coordinated with your team, because if you have one person who's dicking about or like messes up, that'll throw the entire game for you as the survivors. And a slightly skilled mastermind will utterly destroy even the slightest uncoordinated team. If one person strays off too far from the pack, the mastermind will utterly annihilate them, even if they're not a great mastermind player. And then the mastermind, when you start out playing as the mastermind, is like the default loadout is pretty shit, and you have to unlock all like the equipment and stuff, which you have to do for every survivor individually as well. So every mastermind,
so like Friday the 13th and Dead by Daylight and games of that ilk, you unlock stuff by playing it.
Yes,
right, okay.
Like the progression system is like, so if you play as a character, get them to rank 8 or whatever, and then you decide, I want to play as a different character, you have to start from rank 1 as that new character and unlock all the stuff for them again. Which so it's very grindy on that front. There's a weird like cosmetic unlock system in it where you have to spend points to unlock new gear for your characters, and the gear can really make a difference as well. Stuff like reviving teammates faster and
cool. All right.
Like firearms damage and stuff like that. But yeah, it's like, and then that's not even to mention the technical issues as well, because the game, whoever's playing the game, the host of the game is whoever the mastermind is, I should say. So whoever plays as the mastermind is the game host, and if they have a bad connection, it's a bad time for everyone. And the amount of times I was playing a match and it just was like, you have a bad connection to the host, and that results in a really broken hit detection where if you're playing as a survivor, you can pump loads of ammo into a zombie and it might not even register any of those hits, but it'll still take the ammo from your inventory and your supplies and stuff. But it won't even register that you've been damaging the zombie.
Just like eaten up by the fucking servers.
Yeah, like it's disappeared in the internet ether or whatever. But like I think I played 5 hours of it, I think, like 4 or 5, and that was about 30 or so matches. And I only got to play as the mastermind once, and that was when I specifically said I wanted to queue as the mastermind, and I had to wait in matchmaking for 10 minutes while it found the game that needed a mastermind, because everyone wants to play as the mastermind. So
right, of course,
the queues are massive for it. And then every other game I played as a survivor. And out of the 30 or so matches I played, I only won 3. And that was because, like I said, I was part of a really well-coordinated team. So I can see this game maybe being fun if you've got a group of friends to play it with. You have like a group of 4, and you're on the headsets, you're on the mics. You can have a good time with it. But that's just like any multiplayer game is always more fun with friends. So
absolutely, yeah.
Sadly, it's just a bit of a mess, Resident Evil Resistance, and I don't think it's going to last longer than a couple of weeks. I can see.
Do you not think they could save it eventually, or is it just?
I think Capcom. I think they might just send it out to die. Like I can't see
really.
Yeah, it's like it's just a bolt on for their big title, innit? They don't give a shit. Probably.
There's no way is this going to dethrone Dead by Daylight's the king of asymmetrical games. Like that's going to still be on top forever. And,
you'd think even though you've got to work together as a team, like the number one thing to flip in do if you're making a game like this is to make sure that you aren't like as strong as your weakest link. Do you know what I mean? Like if you if one of you is shit, the whole team shouldn't suffer because of it. Mm-hmm. And I know that you've got you don't want to encourage that kind of behavior, but like if you're playing with randoms. Like, do you know what I mean? Like if I connect now on PSN or whatever, and I'm just paired up with like a 13-year-old kid or something like that, who's just trying to have a nice time playing. Well, not 13 because it's an 18, but realistically, a 13-year-old kid playing it, trying to have a nice time, and it's just shit because he's shit, or he might think I'm shit. That's not a good way to do it, is it? Like Call of Duty, I get put with 13-year-old French kids on Warzone all the fucking time,
and they're amazing.
I'm the shit player, and they still do good, is what I'm trying to say. You see?
Resident Evil Resistance as well, the matchmaking is... I don't know if it's skill-based matchmaking, but at the minute, I've played a few games where I've been put in with a group of rank 1 survivors, but then the mastermind's been like rank 20, and they've unlocked all the gear, so they just win straight away, basically.
So the game isn't... got a big enough pool to matchmake, I guess.
Mm-hmm. Like the balancing on it is questionable at the best of times, and just outright broken a lot of the time. So yeah, it's not great, sadly.
Well, that's a shame. It would have been nicer if they put the effort into just like one other area campaign or something.
Well, it was made. It was developed by a separate team to the ones who were making. The actual campaign remake.
Do you know what I mean? Draft them in. Draft them in. Get them working on a fucking clock tower or something. Jesus.
I don't know why they didn't just do...
I don't know. Yeah.
They should have done Mercenaries again. If they put that in Resident Evil 3 as an extra mode, that would have been so good. Because everyone loves Mercenaries, but they just didn't do it. So, I don't know. It's a bit of a mixed bag, Resident Evil 3. The campaign, I do really like, despite how short it is. And I do kind of think... Maybe it should have been given another year in the oven.
Yeah, definitely. Damn. Well, let's do some emails. If you want to send us an email, the address is dearspecialmoves@gmail.com. Send us an email about anything.
Yeah. I'll type this in the chat for the people in the chat. That's good, isn't it? That's a bit of a rare treat. Look at this.
And a reference in the podcast as well.
Can you hear me? That's me typing on my clicky-clacky keyboard.
So send us an email like Tom Winter has done. Tom's a civil servant in Sheffield. He's emailed us before.
He's got the name of a civil servant in Sheffield.
Well, how about this for a twist? Dear Special Moves, hello again. It's Tom Winter, the civil servant from Sheffield. Although I have now moved to London for a bit of career progression.
I knew he was a go-getter, so that wasn't a twist.
Nice one, Tom. Well done, mate. As a console gamer, I've never really been one to indie games, mainly due to the fact I can't be asked paying 15 to 20 quid on a game that you can bang out in a couple of hours or just one sitting. However, because I now spend the majority of my time indoors due to this coronavirus, and thus a lot more...
This so-called coronavirus.
And thus a lot more time gaming, I decided to get the Xbox Game Pass Ultimate. It's actually got a really good catalogue of games, and in particular, indie games. Tom, Don't we know it, mate?
Yeah.
This has given me the chance to play lots of the big indie hitters that you guys often mention. I've played Hellblade, which is class. I'm playing Dead Cells, which is class. And I've downloaded a bunch to play soon, such as Ori and the Blind Forest and the sequel, What Remains of Edith Finch, and Life is Strange.
Nice.
Have you guys got any more recommendations for some more indie titles to play on the Game Pass? Keep up the great content, and many props for helping us get through this pandemic with some top-class gaming chat. Cheers, Tom. Well, yeah, I mean, the Game Pass for the pandemic's a great idea, isn't it?
Oh, yeah. I was going through Game Pass the other day on my Xbox, installing a few things. I think I actually installed Edith Finch is one of them.
I've beat that recently.
I've got Xbox in my bedroom now, best thing ever. And do you know what I've been playing before bed, right? A lovely relaxing time, bit of Cuphead, right? And I hate it. I fucking hate Cuphead, right? It's too hard. But I found that, yeah, I'm enjoying it before bed.
It's good.
I don't know what it is, yeah? I don't know why it is, right? I fucking hate it. It's so hard. It's so hard. Like, it pisses me off as well.
It is
but before
hard,
bed, for some reason... my brain is going like, don't get annoyed, Jake. You're going to bed in a minute. So I don't get annoyed. So I've like, it's mind over matter. So like, have I just beaten that dragon? Yeah, I fucking have. Do you get me? So like, that's a lot more relaxing for me. I'm just looking now on the old Game Pass list. But basically, yeah, it's just get the Slay the Spire.
Which is a card game, right, Jake?
Yeah, it is a card game. Yeah, it's not the card game, but
it got added the other day. It's not an indie game, but Nier Automata's on there. If you've not,
what? Whoa! Yeah. I've just looked now. Become as Gods edition's on there. I've been waiting for this. I haven't played Nier Automata yet.
That's the one that includes all the DLC and stuff in it.
Nier Automata. Fuck! I'm gonna get that then.
I've installed that actually on my Xbox just for another play. Even though I've played through it before on PS4, I just felt like playing it again.
Another friend of the McKelvey family, Ace Combat 7.
Yeah. Oh, I forgot that's on there. That's well worth it. If you want to know where Arsenal Bird comes from.
Yeah, if you're not up to date on the special order, yeah, there's some bangers. My favourite is Slay the Spire, but I guess we should give an honorary shout out to a game that we played last week after the podcast, and it was quite fun. Yeah. We were playing it on PC though, but we played a bit of co-op World War Z, which is like an off-brand third-person Left 4 Dead.
Yeah,
it's actually good though.
It's really good.
It is good.
We had a nice time.
We did.
It's third person. It's got some good guns. It's got some good moments. Like it does a really good job of that thing that the movie did of making the zombies feel like a real horde, like a mass coming towards you.
Yeah.
And there's a couple of nice moments where you have to hold off just masses and masses and masses of zombies, and every time that happened, every time there was like oh shit, we need to open the door, but we'll have to hold the zombies off as long as we can bits. Every time that those happened, all of us were like, wow, look at that. That's good, isn't it? Look at that. We were impressed by the sheer number of zombies.
I felt a bit like a tour guide when I was playing that with you guys.
Yeah, you played Hardened Survivor. Like,
I played it when it came out, yeah.
Yeah.
And if you look to your left, you will find a wave of zombies. I'll tell you another game, actually, if you want to tie it into something a little bit more topical, right? I'm not just going to go through the whole list. This is the last one I'll mention. The video game BAFTAs were this week, so I watched it, and the BAFTA Game of the Year was Outer Wilds.
Yeah.
Which is on there. So if you want to play the BAFTA Game of the Year, which beat out like Sekiro, which was Game of the Year everywhere else, Outer Wilds. Yeah.
Yeah. Outer Wilds
I've got that installed again on the Xbox. I need to play
Not Outer Worlds, by the way, yeah.
Wilds.
Yeah, Wilds. Worlds is that other one. Wilds is this weird fucking...
Made even more confusing by that is also on Game Pass.
Is it?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's Microsoft put it on Game Pass.
Day one, wasn't it?
Fucking that's worth it. That's worth it for free as well.
When they bought Obsidian, they announced it'd be a day one on Game Pass. That's how I played it. I played it on the PC Game Pass.
So there you go. That's how Tom's coping with the old quarantine. Got onto the Xbox Game Pass and he's playing a load of games. Like we were saying at the beginning of the podcast, we've just got time now to do shit like that, which is quite nice. We got another good email from David who said, "Dear Special Moves, love the show. You made an interesting point about Nintendo's stance of focusing on getting the basics right in terms of quick access to games and updates in the last podcast. Although I agree for the most part, I have to ask, why do you think they fall so short when it comes to online play? Animal Crossing is a good example. Forcing a long wait while a loading screen plays out whenever someone visits your island. If you want 4 or 5 people visiting, everyone has to stop what they're doing and wait a good minute or so for the new person to join. When they do get it right in terms of quickly accessing online games like Splatoon, there's a ton of weird restrictions in place, playing in the same team with friends, for example. It's just weird. When Nintendo get things right, they're untouchable. But the longer this crap online integration stuff goes on, the more bizarre these decisions seem to be. David?
Yeah.
So this is... I had a very similar experience to this week. So Animal Crossing came out recently. And I got it day one, and I fired it up, and I sort of created an island and named it and that, and then played about an hour of it. And then I haven't seen my Nintendo Switch ever since, because Laura's been playing it loads. But I made the island first, which made me the resident representative of the island. And then that made Laura like some kind of weird second-class citizen where she just couldn't do like shitloads of stuff. She could progress really far, but she just couldn't do like important things. So I did what any reasonable person would do, and I went on the Nintendo support forums and I posted on there, no help. What did they do? They just closed the thread and said, sorry, this is not a technical problem. This is feedback. Goodbye. And that's what I scrolled through the Nintendo support forums because, that's what I did. And there was just loads and loads and loads of people saying, how do you transfer who the resident representative is? I'm not playing it enough. My daughter's playing it more, or my wife is playing it more, or my husband's playing it more, or whatever. And they just had no response. They're just like this weirdly like strict authoritarian kind of like,
mate,
this doesn't belong here.
Let me just cast your mind back, right? When I had the fucking problem with my Joy-Con, the Joy-Con drift problem, which was a known problem, so much so that Nintendo of America were given free unquestionable refunds or replacements. Same with Nintendo of Japan. Nintendo of Europe didn't have an official stance on it. So the guy I spoke to on the phone was like speaking to some sort of fucking Freemason. He was like, he wasn't saying he was saying, we have no official Joy-Con drift, sir. Could you explain that for me, please? It was like a post office worker. Like, he didn't give a shit. And he was like purposely going, we here at Nintendo don't understand what you mean, sir. So I was like, but you do know what I mean. You must have got loads of calls about this. In America, Nintendo have got a stance. In Japan, they've got a stance. What are you going to do? And they were like, we have nothing to say.
It's weird. It's so weird. And it's like a really strange, I'm sure they've got a good design reason or something for making it so the first person who plays the game creates the island and they're like, in charge of that version of the game. But it seems to me like what they really want is for you to buy 2 consoles and 2 copies of the game so you can both play it like that. And that seems that's kind of what, to me, they'd ideally have a whole family with Nintendo Switch Lites and 4 copies of Animal Crossing instead of sharing 1 console and 1 copy of the game. So we ended up just deleting the save and deleting all the save data off my system. And Laura started again from like the very beginning. And she's going through it and she's like, oh, I can do this. Oh, I can do that. And there's a lot of stuff in the game that you just can't enjoy until the resident representative has done it. So, and there was nothing made of that. Really, it didn't really mean anything when you were going through the introduction. It didn't say, by the way, everyone else is going to play this game is going to be absolutely fucked unless you carry on playing it yourself and make sure you stay ahead of them in the story and stuff. So yeah, I agree, David. They're shit online stuff as far as I'm concerned.
I just don't think they care, basically.
No.
It's like they're not known for their multiplayer output either, really, are they? We're known for their local multiplayer, but not online multiplayer.
Definitely not. But they are charging for it now.
But they are charging, like even the stuff like they charge for with like the cloud saving. It's like they made a big deal of being like, oh, you can finally upload your saves, back them up to the cloud, and it's like, except for Pokemon, except for Animal Crossing, except for all the big games that you would want to make sure you've got backed up because you put a lot of hours into that save file. You can't back it up because they're scared that you're going to cheat. But people are already cheating on Animal Crossing with, moving the Switch
Time
clock
traveling.
forward. Yeah.
Yeah, pricks.
I can understand with Pokemon.
Generate pricks. If you're doing that, you're a prick.
I can't believe how far they pushed for Animal Crossing. Do you know what I mean? I can't believe I went on the Nintendo forums and was like, I wrote like like an angry letter to the fucking Sunday Times or something.
That reminds me.
Points of view.
I've got to check in later, make sure my bridge is built.
Exactly. See, this is what it does to people, man. I'm free of Animal Crossing. I haven't even logged in 6 days, right? That's it.
Man.
I'm free of the regime, mate. Fucking Nooktown. It's over. I'm out of there. I'm like...
Yeah, well, just make sure no one else in your household wants to play it, mate, because I'm out of there as well. I've hour, and Laura couldn't enjoy it at all. So make sure no one else in that family wants to pick it up.
I will. You don't need to worry about that.
Should we do thanks for the emails? If you want to send us an email, it's dsmoves@gmail.com. Please send in your emails about what you've been doing. Tell us what you've been playing in the quarantine. Tell us if you got any strategies like the Xbox Game Pass that Tom mentioned. Let us know. Should we do the new games then? There's two.
Can do.
Get the first one out of the way. April the 8th, we've got Galaxy of Pen and Paper. It's like +1 or something. Edition. It's coming to the Nintendo Switch. Okay. There's actually quite a few games coming to the Nintendo Switch this week, but that's the only one I picked out. So there's a couple of games called Knights of Pen and Paper, which is like a D&D D&D type, an indie game. It looks quite nice, actually. It looks loads of, and I end up looking at it quite a lot, but I haven't actually ever bought it. Are you guys familiar with this at all?
Yeah, I think I've got it. There was a double pack on sale, and it was like £3 or £4 for both of them together on the Switch. So I got it, and I just ended up playing a tower defense game instead. Something of monsters or something.
Yeah.
But I think I've got it, but it looks like my sort of thing, so I was into it.
So
Paradox
that's
did it originally.
Oh, really? All right.
Yeah, they published it anyway.
So this is Galaxy, so it's just like the sci-fi Star Trek looking spin on it. And then a couple of days later, April the 10th, the official release date of Final Fantasy VII, the remake, or like part 1, I guess, is coming out. So you guys have been looking forward to this for about 10 years, haven't you?
Oh, yes.
Oh my god, yeah. It's my favorite Final Fantasy, apart from Metal Gear Solid 1 and Tenchu 2, is probably my favorite PlayStation game as well.
What, PlayStation as in the brand PlayStation?
Yeah.
Cool. That's good.
For sure. So yeah. I've got it. I've been playing it endlessly for the past 4 or 5 days, but out of respect for Square for sending it over, I'm not going to talk about it.
Yeah.
Although if you're like quite a few people, you probably already got it. Not you guys, but I mean people listening. Quite a few people have received physical copies.
Yeah.
Already or whatever. So it's like I don't know. Australia got it early. So I told you, didn't I? Like last week, I was working on Persona 5, which came out this Tuesday. But Australia had it for like 2 weeks. It's been the exact same situation, but like no one really cared as much.
Yeah.
Whereas here, it's a mess. There's so people are getting it early. Like Liam, has yours been dispatched?
I've had the dispatch notice. Yeah, it has. It's not arrived yet though. But yeah,
people are being dispatched
this Friday. Just gone. It was.
Coronavirus situation has either meant people's orders have been completely cancelled.
Yeah.
Or sent out super early. And I don't really know what the kind of legal issue is there. Like, Square are obviously not happy. They've been issuing some fucking severe takedown notices on YouTube channels I've seen. Twitch streamers are getting absolutely shadow banned into oblivion. And then Square kind of just made a tweet saying, we're going to level with you. The game's coming out early for some people. Just don't be a dickhead and spoil it. So what I will say about the game, which I think is a very nice way of talking about it, in a breezy way, right? I've put well over 10 hours into it, and I would say 6 or 7 of those hours have been completely new bits, right? So the reason I'm bringing this up is to say I can see why they're saying don't spoil it, because there's a lot of new stuff that could be spoiled. I'm sure everyone is going to have some feelings about it either way. I'll tell you that I'm really enjoying it, and we'll talk about it next week. But man, whew, it's a game. I'll fucking tell you that.
It's nice. It's nice to have so many sort of big deals happening, isn't it? You know, the sort of Banlord's a talking point, Resident Evil's a talking point, Final Fantasy's a talking point.
Yeah. Wednesday night, I had Call of Duty Modern Warfare installed. I was going to get Modern Warfare 2. I had Final Fantasy 7 sitting there, and then we had Resident Evil 3.
Yeah. It is going to be a bit quiet now.
It's like that meme, the guy like can't hold all these things. That's what it was like. I had too many. It was such a big week. Like, I was trying to explain to my wife, who doesn't give a shit about anything apart from me playing Legends of Runeterra and becoming Master Rank, because she actually is into the game. Yeah. So I'm trying to say, like, this is like a massive event. Like, it's a big week. This is one of the weeks that you look back, like, and go,
"You son of a bitch."
Yeah, man. Oh, it reminds me of the spring of the great quarantine of fucking 2020. Bad for the world, but great for games. And, do you know what I'm saying?
Well, not The Last of Us, though.
Well, yeah, okay, yeah. So speaking of virus, right, yeah. Last of Us 2 got delayed till... Well, it hasn't been given a date. Yeah, so do you guys agree with me when I say it's now definitely going to be a PS5 launch title and staggered on PS4, like Breath of the Wild was?
I think it depends what their plan is with backwards compatibility, you know.
Yeah,
because
I think Liam, you said in the WhatsApp a few days ago that it's going to be the one to show backwards compatibility, how it works, or show how, you know, show some kind of technical step up for the next one. So like, I could really see it being on both platforms.
Like, like if they've got some like enhanced support baked into it or whatever, like it'll run it. Yeah. I don't know. They'll put ray traced shadows in it for the PS5 or something. I don't know.
It's built for Digital Foundry comparison videos.
It definitely is.
So that's going to be weird, then, isn't it? Because it's like, so. Because if let's say you buy a shiny PS5, you don't want to buy a PS4 game for it, do you? You want the little physical box to say PlayStation 5, don't you?
Breath of the Wild.
Well, Breath of the Wild was a different game, wasn't it? You could buy the Switch version or the Wii U version.
Yeah.
Do you know what I'm saying?
It could be the same type of thing.
No, that's what I mean. It'll be a PS5 launch title and on PS4, but I don't think it'll be just on PS4 and then you can like.
Oh, absolutely not. No, because The Last of Us 1 was remastered within a year or something, wasn't it?
I think I got that with my PS4.
What I mean is, like, with the next gen, Microsoft have already come out and they've shown like was it Xbox One games running at like 4K and stuff, like on the Series X, like games that you can just pop the disc in if you own it and it'll be enhanced. So if Sony come out and do like here's the PS4 version of The Last of Us, but then here's the shiny enhanced edition for the PS5, like, I don't know how that'll go down, especially with Microsoft coming in and saying, we're going to make your Xbox One games better, like, retroactive.
They could just commit. They could. It's just a Blu-ray, isn't it? Really. So they could just sell the game as a PlayStation 5 game, PlayStation 5 title that will run on a PS4. There could be.
That's what I mean. Is it just going to say PlayStation simply? Because we're getting to that stage now. I like the idea of there being a PS5 version. But you're right. I think it's going to be on both, but it'll be the same game on it, probably.
Yeah.
Well, you look at Red Dead Redemption as well, like the original Red Dead Redemption on 360. You put that in an Xbox One X.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah, we
get it in 4K and shit. Yep. It fucking looks amazing. That's incredible.
I played through it again with the enhancements on X, and it was beautiful.
I'm sure it is. Yeah, because that's the thing with Red Dead Redemption. It's sort of in your mind. It looks amazing, but if you went and back and played it as it looks on a 360, it looks horrible. Really, I mean, it's just like the draw distance is just all blurry and shit like that, and all the cactuses are shiny and shimmering and stuff. But then you get all that stuff in 4K. It's going to make a hell of a difference.
Yeah. That's what I'm hoping they do with Last of Us Part 2, where if you've got a PS4 copy, you decide you want to play it on PS5, you can just pop the disc in and it'll be like, here's 4K ray tracing, whatever else they want to do to it.
Yeah.
without you having to like pay for an upgrade.
I don't see it being in the summer, basically, because so the end of June, when
was it due out?
May
Was it?
It was like literally like 3 or 4 weeks away. Yeah.
Oh shit.
Yeah, it was meant to come out before Ghosts of Tsushima, which is out.
That's
in
what
June.
I was going to say. Yeah, so that's like the last couple of days of June, 26th, I think.
Mm-hmm.
So the month after, Cyberpunk's out, right? July, I think, or is it August?
No, I think it's September now. Cyberpunk.
Oh, that's been pushed as well. Yeah. Fair enough then. I'm just thinking it'll be winter, because the thing is, they know it's a system seller.
Yeah.
Right? And the whole coronavirus thing isn't going away anytime soon. Everyone knows that. And if the rumors are true about what has been put on Polygon and Kotaku this week or whatever, that the game is a fucking shit show. I remember when we were working on a news cycle at Pretty Good Gamer, we'd be picking up quite a lot of stories about Naughty Dog developers leaving. Well, that's still going and going and going and going and going. Yeah. And it's getting to the point now where is becoming a bit of a problem. I reckon that this.
I was just saying, did you see there was someone leaked footage of The Last of Us 2 online, and apparently Sony have been on the warpath trying to scrub it from the internet.
Oh no,
just some leaked gameplay or something. But yeah, Sony are going hard at taking everyone down who posts it.
Harder than fucking Square Enix and Final Fantasy VII, I think.
They are, yeah.
Then again, I haven't seen any spoilers for that yet, so
everyone's been respectful so far, which is quite nice to see. It's nice to see that for a change.
Yeah, man. Well, the delays haven't stopped, and I think it's going to be a mess still. I think that they're going to wait till physical copies can go out with no weird hitches. Look at this Final Fantasy thing. Some people have got it now, some people have got it a week ago. GameStop have just said, nah, mate, you're not having your copy, but we can't give you any refunds till the whole coronavirus thing's over. Yeah. So I don't think they want anything to do with that shit, but whatever, innit? There's Trials of Mana's out in 2 weeks. Just play that, innit?
I don't think that's going to be the same quality of game, but never mind.
I might not even get that. But yeah, so I think that's it for the new games. There's just 2.
Think so.
That's it for the podcast.
And that's it for the
Last of Us.
Well,
tree at the end there.
Yeah, but that's what we're here for. Do you know what? Yeah, quite topically, we did. What did we do? We gave them the BAFTA winner. Yeah, we did the Last of Us 2 delay. I'll say this as well, just to close it out. Oh, Valorant's looking quite good, isn't it? Boom. We're there. So join us next week, where we are probably still at home. Let's face it. The quarantine in the UK ends this week. But come on.
Well, they're going to
the Queen's talking to the country tonight.
They're going to review the restrictions. This is what they're going to do.
Yeah. So today we're going to find out that we're in lockdown for another month, I reckon. Anyway, we'll see you later, guys. Thanks very, very much. Stay safe. Stay indoors. Bye-bye.